I move my arms like a Muppet all the time. And with all the complaining the Trumps do about this trial playing out in the media, you could barely even turn the channel without seeing their lawyer doing an interview with somebody. Part of the group, he posted this picture of him and Tuck cackling in their blue checker print shirts, and boasted that his dad is the father of hotel gyms. He said, maybe someone put a gym in a building somewhere, but no one did it at the scale of my father.
I rely on them to do accounting, but I'm supposed to know more than them. By this logic, insurance companies are going to start suing patients for listening to their doctors.
Once upon a time, in a land called Mar-a-Lago, lived a not-so-charming prince named Donald Jr. He thought he was the smartest cookie in the jar until the court jester Jimmy Kimmel decided to spill the tea. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Suddenly, the kingdom was in an uproar. The old King Trump's face turned redder than a MAGA hat, and his tweets flew faster than his toupee in a hurricane. Want to know what happens next in this modern-day fairy tale gone wrong? Alright folks, gather around for the latest chapter in the Trump family fairy tale. Our not-so-charming prince, Donald Trump Jr., decided to take a swing at international politics on Twitter. Spoiler alert, it didn't go well. Jr. thought he was being clever with a post about Ukraine, but he ended up looking more like the court jester than a wise prince. He shared a picture of Ukrainian President Zelensky with a caption that would make even Pinocchio cringe. POV, you're 38 days from losing your allowance.
You hear the protesters chanting crime family, and that is basically what these people are, a crime family, a very dumb crime family. Part of the group, he posted this picture of him and Tuck cackling in their blue checker print shirts. I'm a business guy who had his elbows soldered together, and now...
Yikes, looks like someone needs a crash course in diplomacy. And maybe a dictionary to look up what allowance means. Now, our favorite late-night wizard, Jimmy Kimmel, couldn't resist waving his comedy wand at this Twitter disaster. He basically suggested that Trump Jr. might want to leave the tweeting to the professionals, or at least to someone who's outgrown their piggy bank phase. But here's where it gets really juicy. The internet, being the magical realm it is, decided to turn Trump Jr.'s tweet into the meme equivalent of a dancing broom from Fantasia.
The Gambozos, if you will, and Don Jr., he's so embarrassing. He's on the stand, he's testifying in this $250 million fraud trial.
I'm not supposed to rely on a big five accounting firm, like one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. I can pay them millions of dollars.
I move my arms like a Muppet all the time. And with all the complaining the Trumps do about this trial playing out in the media, you could barely even turn the channel without seeing their lawyer doing an interview with somebody.
Faster than you can say "cough-f," social media was flooded with jokes and memes making fun of Jr.'s not-so-brilliant post. It was like watching a virtual snowball fight, but instead of snowballs, people were throwing sick burns and savage comebacks. You'd think after such a Twitter tornado, Trump Jr. would come out swinging with some snappy comebacks of his own, but nope. Our usually chatty prince went quieter than a mouse in a room full of cats. It was so unlike him that people started wondering if his phone had been confiscated by the Mar-a-Lago nannies. Now, let's talk about Kimmel's magical solution to improve Trump Jr.'s tweeting skills. The late-night wizard suggested that maybe, just maybe, Jr. should avoid using words like allowance when trying to sound all grown up and political. It's like showing up to a jousting tournament with a plastic sword. Not exactly intimidating, is it? But wait, there's more to this fairy tale. While Jr. was busy dealing with his Twitter troubles, Papa Trump was watching from his golden tower. And let me tell you, he was not amused. The old king's face was turning redder than a tomato with each joke at his son's expense. You could almost see the steam coming out of his ears. Well, folks, it looks like Papa Trump couldn't resist joining the Twitter tussle. And boy, oh boy, did he bring the thunder, or should I say the blunder. Our orange-tinted hero decided it was time to defend his son's honor. Because nothing says, "I love you, son," like rage tweeting at a late-night comedian, right?
He has to compliment. He said his father is an artist with real estate. Yeah, he's an artist with, he's Vincent Van Gogh to jail with real estate.
Right, do you understand, like, am I supposed to know more? Oh, Don Jr. doesn't know anything about it. I'm not an accountant. I'm a business guy.
Boasted that his dad is the father of hotel gyms. He said, maybe someone put a gym in a building somewhere, but no one did it at the scale of my father.
Trump Sr. took to Twitter faster than you can say Kofi, calling Jimmy Kimmel a total loser and accusing him of being desperate for ratings. Talk about the pot calling the kettle orange. But wait, it gets better. Trump's tweets started getting zanier than his hair in a hurricane. He even suggested that Kimmel's jokes were just a reflection of his own insecurities. Now, I'm no psychologist, but that sounds an awful lot like projection to me. It's like watching a toddler point at his little brother and yell, "He did it!" when there's crayon all over the walls and his hands. As the former president's thumbs flew across his phone screen, you could almost hear them crying for mercy. Poor little digit-alls working overtime without hazard pay. But Trump wasn't done yet. Oh no, he was just getting started. The more Kimmel joked, the more Trump tweeted. It was like watching a game of whack-a-mole, but instead of moles, it was tweets popping up faster than you could read them. And just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, Trump did something truly shocking. He started deleting some of his more inflammatory tweets. Gasp. Could it be? Was the king of caps lock actually reconsidering his social media strategy? But fear not, comedy lovers. Our man Kimmel wasn't about to let this golden opportunity slip through his fingers. He turned Trump's Twitter tirade into comedy gold, and the audience ate it up like it was the last slice of pizza at a political rally. Kimmel even compared the Trump family to a dysfunctional sitcom family. You know, the kind where the dad thinks he's always right, the son tries way too hard to impress him, and everyone's always one step away from a legal disaster. It's like Arrested Development, but with more spray tan and fewer morals. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite late-night jesters have been doing more than just making us laugh. Turns out they're actually helping us understand the wacky world of politics better than the so-called expert.
I rely on them to do accounting, but I'm supposed to know more than them. By this logic, insurance companies are going to start suing patients for listening to their doctors.
Don and Don Jr. had some father and son event this weekend. They went to the UFC fight at Madison Square Garden. He's saying that his father, the father of the hotel gym, is a guy who's never stepped inside one.
A study showed that 62% of viewers think late-night comedy helps them get their heads around political issues. Who knew? Maybe we should start giving Jimmy Kimmel and his pals some fancy professor titles. Speaking of our dear friend Jimmy, he's been giving the Trump clan a royal roasting that would make even the harshest fairy tale stepmother blush. It's like he's got a magic mirror that shows all their Twitter mishaps and spray tan disasters. And let's be honest, watching Trump Sr. turn into a human tomato with each punchline is better than any reality TV show. So what's the moral of this twisted fairy tale? Maybe it's time for the Trumps to trade in their Twitter crowns for some good old-fashioned books on how not to make a fool of yourself online. Or better yet, maybe they should stick to activities with less chance of public humiliation. Croquet, anyone?